Wake up, damn it! What's the matter with you? You know what time it is.
Saturday morning. It's time for your hangover cure. You failed at the bar last night.
Or did you?
Well, if he didn't fail or she didn't fail, then they wouldn't need us. It's still fun. It is still fun, by the way, to listen to the Saturday morning hangover cure Sunday afternoon or Monday evening or whenever you want to.
Whenever you get to it, because we'll still tell you what you should listen to or not, read, watch, whatever. We got you covered.
The best and the worst in pop culture here. Sports Frenzy 2.0, the weekend edition. With
only the politically incorrect way we can do it.
Your Uncle Dave, the conquistador, Dave Height.
Your Uncle Kev, the maestro Kevin Crane. Coming to you on Spotify, Good Pods, Pocket Casts, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, Amazon, Audible, iHeart Sports Frenzy, baby.
Man, that's premature promotion right there. You usually wait until the, half an hour, 45 minutes in.
Hey, the flow was there.
Yeah, that's what she said, yeah.
Well, that's why you didn't go there, buddy. Hey, you go when it takes you.
Of course, iHeart Sports Frenzy is iHeart Radio. And once again, I would like to stress we love each and every one of our podcast platforms for covering us.
And each and every one of you loyal listeners.
So what do we always start off with on the weekend edition, Dave?
It's all about the rock and roll, baby.
Slim Pickens. Slim Pickens, except for this week.
Because Slim Pickens does the right thing.
And he writes the bomb to hell.
Dance, fucker, dance. Let the motherfucker burn.
But the one major album release going all the way back to the beginning of December and probably going all the way forward into February and March is this week. This review, the new album from Tremonti, The End Will Show Us How. Now, we have reviewed 4 songs off this album already.
We have. And I can honestly say there is not a bad song on this album. There's some okay, but nothing that I fully despised.
No, I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that. My problem with the album is...
It sounded a lot the same here and there.
It took me back to about 9 or 10 months ago when we had this big lineup of albums that we were looking forward to, and maybe we had Judas Priest come through and the Black Crowes came through, but all the other ones, it was... half the album was really good, and the other half was kind of
And we're right back in that pattern.
This disappointed me. Now, saying that, I will recommend the album.
Yes.
I will give it a solid 3 frenzies right off the bat.
Yeah, solid 3. There's nothing I didn't like, but there were definitely weaker songs.
Well, I think you basically split the album down the middle. Now, here's the problem with that. The first 4 singles, which I loved each and every one tremendously. And this is why I was so hyped about this album. This is why I was waiting and waiting and waiting for this album. And then you throw in Nails.
Nails
could have been the best song on the album.
I really like Nails.
And so I'm like, 6 songs in, we got the first 4 singles, The Mother of the Earth and I, One More Time, Just Too Much, and the title track.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not over, it's not bad. And I'm like 6 songs in.
It's not over.
Oh my God,
this
album
okay, but yeah.
I'm like, this album is going to exceed my expectations. And then the second half kind of sounds all the same to me.
Yes, it all just went. It peaked and then went down and flatlined.
Yeah,
but
like you said, not bad songs.
Just
nothing stands out.
No, he needed Miles Kennedy in there to
mix things
up.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, the first thing I did, after listening to this album about 6-7 times, I went back and listened to their first album. I went back and listened to All I Was, the very first Tremonti album.
Yeah.
And I understand now why this album disappointed me. Is because it's the whole first album curse. Van Halen had it. Boston had it. When you have all these years, now with Tremonti, maybe a little different because he was splitting his time between Alter Bridge and then Creed. So, but
still, you have the downtime on the road.
But you have all this music that you build up and build up and build up, and you put the best of it out there on the first album.
Right.
And then you try to struggle and find ways to find 10, 12, 13 songs a year or two later. And that's what I felt like here, is that he had 5 good songs with the 4 singles and then Nails. Again, I cannot talk about how much I love Nails.
Nails was really good.
But then tomorrow we will fail. I'll take my chances. The Bottom, Live in Fear, Now That I've Made It, and All the Wicked Things. All kind of there's
melded.
There's recycled Alter Bridge riffs in there.
Yes.
There's it's fine. I'll listen to it. I will listen to it again and again and not.
But I don't know that I will listen to it straight through. It's going to have to be in a mix.
Right. Nothing of those final 6 songs really jumped out at me.
Yeah. One thing I will say with It's Not Over, that to me could be a James Bond theme song. It had that melody and vocals that harken back to a Bond theme song.
And again, the first half of this album is 4 frenzies.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, 4 frenzies, the first half of the album. And then the second half drags it down a little bit just because there's nothing new in it, nothing different.
No.
There's no big hooks, there's no big guitar solos. So you go from a four frenzy first half to maybe a strong 2 second half to bring you to a 3. And I hate to say it because I have been looking forward to this album. This has been
the album you have been waiting for.
And again, that's why I went back and listened to the first album, is because I'm thinking, am I missing something? I knew some of the other albums in between weren't the best, but I remember the first album and the more recent albums.
Yeah. I
think we reviewed A Dying Machine, one of our first reviews in the first year or so we were doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Very solid album.
Very, very good. This kind of the...
But see, again, we'll make the Alter Bridge comparison. Kind of reminds me of Miles Kennedy's latest album.
When he's on his own, gets into the rut of a same
pattern. Can be brilliant.
But it will sound the same.
The last album before The Art of Letting Go, you and I both voted that album best album of that year.
Yes, because it was new stuff all over. Lots of different pieces coming in. The second one got into the rut of sounding the same.
Yep.
As we said, with anybody who goes solo too often, you need the others as the foils to mix it up.
And we don't know what the future of Alter Bridge will be. But I have already heard that Miles is back with Slash, working on a new Conspirators album.
You know what? Why can't we get them to go out together?
Because then Slash goes back out with Axl to make more money. I just want Miles Kennedy or Tremonti to play somewhere in the Midwest.
Yeah, come on, please. Miles.
We get it.
Miles, come out. Do the Conspirator stuff. You can play guitar well enough to pull off the stuff you do with Slash. You are talented enough to be able to do it.
Yeah, a nice mix of all of it. Alter Bridge, Conspirators, solo.
Yeah. Come on, throw us a bone here.
Throw us a bone, man. No, but they're so popular overseas is the problem. Alter Bridge is huge overseas. And that's why Tremonti right now is doing an extensive tour.
Over in Europe.
Yes. Because, the American audiences don't appreciate us.
Bullshit!
It's not the American audiences, it's all the hoops and the fees and the
bullshit
bullshit we have to jump through in order to see you guys. And Chicago doesn't count, by the way, gentlemen. I would like to point that out.
No, Chicago does not
Go to Grand
count.
Rapids, go to Fort Wayne, go to Indianapolis. For the love of Christ. The Murat, the Old National Center, the Egyptian Room, play there.
You'll fill it.
All right, so 3 frenzies for me.
3 frenzies.
Little disappointing. Little disappointing.
Little bit with the
high
second
expectations.
half.
High expectations. So, be that as it may, let's move on to books.
Yes, let's.
Of course, they're going, oh my God, books again? Last week you reviewed like 47 books.
Suck it up, Buttercup. We're literate.
And in this case, you will enjoy this book review because this is the latest in the Jack Reacher series.
Which, season 3 coming up on Amazon Prime in February. And we will give you the recap as it goes along.
Oh, each and every week. That will be a weekly recap for you. But the new Reacher book, co-authored by Lee and Andrew Child, is In Too Deep.
Reacher with amnesia. Little bit. Doesn't know what happened.
I will say this. You and I have, over the last few years, since Andrew Child jumped in to do the co-authoring with this,
been a little mediocre.
This is the best.
This goes back to good, solid Lee.
Yep.
This is,
and again, we don't know who's got how much input in these books anymore. But I agree with you.
This is we could tell who wrote what part of the last few books.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one that had the best meld throughout, where you couldn't see the distinct writing styles. They're starting to find that middle ground, and it felt like an old Reacher story.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely. I was very happy with this one. After like you said, them getting the feel for how they were going to split the workload
Andrew
or whatever.
Not knowing what the hell he was doing with the character.
This was the best so far. They finally figured it out.
Yes. The storyline on this one was really good.
Yes. Yeah, I will give this one a 3.5 frenzy.
Absolutely a 3.5.
I will not say it's an all-time classic, but
it's one of the top that we've had in a long time.
Absolutely, yes. And again, we're not going to spoil the storyline for you, but as Dave said, Reacher has amnesia. And I loved how they had a limited number of settings for this. It would go back from a hotel to a couple houses to a cave.
Yeah.
And that's basically where almost all the entire book takes place.
The first half of the book takes place in this small little arena. Brilliantly done, and then as the story progresses, you have to branch out.
Oh, that's
to
right.
places.
Then you start going almost international.
Yeah. You go out to Missouri, then you go to Lauderdale, then you hit the Bahamas.
Yep.
The islands. So, this was a quick read, one of the quicker reads of late for a Reacher novel. It didn't bog down at all. The pacing was very good. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. And Dave and I are very critical.
I've been on this series from the very beginning. So, trust me, kids. This is a step back in the right direction.
Yeah, and I have read all of them. I jumped in the middle, went back, started from the beginning. So, as Dave is trying to be a little bit pompous and arrogant here, about
Yes, I am,
his
because I
Reacher knowledge, even though I have the same Reacher knowledge he does, he can claim on 90% of the book series we talk about, he can claim dominion. Not on this one, but yes, this is the best Reacher book I've probably read. I would say in a decade. At least.
Yeah, I would concur with
even
that.
going back to the last few that were just Lee Child.
Yeah, this is one of the top ones we've had in a long time.
Well, I'm glad you liked this because I read it and I was like, I wonder how Dave's going to react to this.
Yeah, I was thinking, my God, I'm loving this. What did Kevin think?
Yeah, how we've been ripping apart the Andrew Child collaborations ever since they started.
Yeah, because
and like you said,
you could distinctly tell who was writing what parts.
Right.
This one, very,
and this is
very
the thing,
smooth meld
and
between
this is
everything.
a couple weeks from now, we're going to review the latest Spencer novel.
Right, Hot Property.
Written by Mike Lupica. And this is another one where Dave and I will dissect the writing style and compare it to Ace Atkins, who I thought was doing a tremendous job.
Picking up in Parker's voice.
Going all the way back into Parker's books.
Yes.
So, we know what we're talking about here. We do. I mean, I do when it comes to Spencer, when it comes to Reacher, Dave, everything else. And Robichaux. Me, Robichaux, too.
You've got Dominion there because you hit that earlier on than I did.
Well, and Spencer, too.
Yeah. Now, I've read them all, but...
Yes, because it only takes you 15 minutes to read a book. Although, tell the kids how many books you read last year.
24. The lowest...
Which is bullshit!
The lowest total I've had in years.
Which is bullshit! You're usually reading 75, 80 books a year.
Yeah, not last year.
Damn video games.
Stop
playing video games, Dave. Stop it.
I got behind on a lot of things. I should have already had the Gray Man series knocked out.
Oh, don't even start me on that. Jesus Christ.
I'm only 3 or 4 in on that one.
I will. I always make fun about you taking the old Evelyn Wood speed reading courses.
I don't speed read.
But I'm telling you, I would have to take that course for me to catch up on the Gray Man series. I mean, those books are 600, 700 pages each. Oh, my God.
Well, thanks to it was a pandemic year that I read and caught up with the entire Spencer series.
But though, honestly,
I know
there's a lot of books in that series.
They're quick reads.
They are.
You can get through them in 2 to 3 days.
Even I can. Yeah.
They are super fast.
So again, oh, by the way, your Uncle Dave is taking another vacation week next week. So
it's not my fault!
Again. No, he's just born on the day that we're going to be taping, so his wife will not let him out of the house. I get it.
The boys are going to be off work. It's a family day, whatever. It's just another day.
How do I get your vacation plan here on... I have not missed a single week since this bad boy started. And you get like 14 vacation weeks every year.
Because the studio's in your basement.
Anyway. Ma! Meatloaf! No, I do not live in my mother's basement. I own this house, goddammit. But yes, we are in my basement.
In all its glory. You have to have a recording studio somewhere.
And we have ambiance. We have the Punisher posters and
Night
Iron
Ranger
Man.
and
so come on.
Jean-Claude Van Damme's Hard Target movie poster.
One of the most underrated action movies ever made.
Surrounded by books and DVDs and video games and chicks and drugs and fire trucks. Well, maybe not the last few.
I wish we had chicks. At least for me. All right. Little bit of news. Let's do some news before we move on to TV and streaming. Not much. Not much. Although trailers, our weekly look at the new trailers out, very interesting. Daredevil, Born Again, the full trailer for the Disney Plus series coming in March is out.
Yep.
I
Very intrigued.
love the interaction between Wilson Fisk and Matt Murdock. Love it. Not enough Punisher, though. Not enough Punisher. A little tiny brief look at Frank Castle, and that's it. And then here's one that I am going to be very interested to hear your opinion on. A Working Man.
That I just want the new Statham movie coming out in March.
I'm mad about this, though, and I'll tell you why. They sold out on the name. They sold completely out on the name. This is based on a book series by the great Chuck Dixon, who, again, referring back to the Punisher, was one of the greatest Punisher writers in Marvel history. So he came up with this book series featuring Levon Cade. And initially, and Sylvester Stallone is involved in this movie. I believe he wrote or co-wrote the screenplay.
Yeah.
Initially, this was going to be called the same title as the first book, Levon's Trade. And then they came up with this lame-ass title, A Working Man. Come on!
Levon's Trade would have been so much better.
No, because that doesn't make any sense to people. So we gotta make it about
if you're working in the trades, you would get it. You're trying to push kids to go into the trades. This would have been the perfect venue for it.
But all the books are Levon's Trade, Levon's something.
Whatever. Stick with it. Don't fuck it up.
To me, you've basically killed off a franchise here.
Because you screwed up the title. Great. Hollywood at its worst.
Now, beyond that,
the trailer
looks
phenomenal.
Yes, fantastic. Typical Jason Statham. Jason Statham, Liam Neeson.
Boom.
Trying to keep that 80s action film vibe alive.
And Statham does it oh so well.
And he's getting better.
He
After
is.
The Beekeeper, now this, he's getting better.
Statham is
Whereas
solid.
Liam Neeson's probably kind of fading away.
Yeah, Statham just gets better and better.
Yep. So definitely, A Working Man looks great. Daredevil Born Again looks great, but I want more Punisher. That's my only complaint. You're going to have to get Disney Plus.
At some point. At some point.
I will keep an eye out for deals for you.
So, I can always do the free trial when it's all out and blow through.
Disney only does the once a week release.
I know,
thing.
that's why I gotta wait until it's done to blow through it.
Your boys are never going to be able to wait until midsummer before it's over.
One of them
because remember, it's 18 episodes.
Yeah. Maybe one of them is going to have to step up and pony up for a while. We've got everything else. They can pay for this one.
All right, we love Jared Padalecki. We do. Going all the way back to Supernatural. Love him. Love him. But
Fire Country.
Yeah, he's doing that.
I'm going to train him to fight fires my way.
Yeah, I know. But now we've got more news about Jared Padalecki.
Oh, Jared.
Even though, as you have just alluded to, he has got this whole Fire Country spinoff thing possibly cooking. there is now another potential TV show that he is getting attached to.
Because Walker did so well.
Well, he's going back to Texas, Dave. Jared Padalecki is slated to play a Texas country doctor in a new CBS drama. How many people in this fucking world, in this Hollywood nightmare, have to be doctors? Everybody's a fucking doctor. It's either we're setting these dramas in hospitals or
clinics or
they're doctors somewhere.
Good
Somewhere, somehow,
God.
you gotta be a doctor. Is there some kind of underground deal we don't know about between Hollywood and the AMA or something?
Doctor, give me the news.
Dr. Feelgood. God.
Dr. Hook.
I know Jensen Ackles is, at least for our purposes, getting himself aligned with so many better, more cool roles with The Boys and with Tracker.
Yeah, come on.
Jared's got to step his game up a little bit. I'm sorry.
A little bit?
Wife
How
is
about a
beautiful.
lot of it?
I love your wife. I love your wife.
The
So,
demon that she is
I'm not
was...
saying you have to step your game up there. You're doing fine. Thumbs up, buddy. Thumbs up. But creatively, maybe we expect a little bit more from you.
You need to get a few... You need to pick your roles better.
And then finally, in news, Vince McMahon settled his complaints through the Securities and Exchange Commission. Of course, we all know about his little tawdry sexual payoffs using WWE money.
Oh, big no-no.
He called them minor accounting errors.
Oh my God.
He did get hit with a $1.7 million settlement, but
That's a slap on the wrist.
that's it. He's free and clear after that.
That's ridiculous. The SEC let him off the hook. Big time.
Kind of seems like it, doesn't it?
How much got paid under the rug to keep it from going to where it should have been?
Now, I still think he's got the other lawsuits pending. But
come
yeah,
on.
I thought
the
same
SEC
thing.
has no fucking teeth.
I thought the same thing. This was a slap on the wrist.
That's
considering how much money he got when the WWE was bought out by what, Endeavor?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. All right, let's move on to TV and streaming. And our featured review this week, Season 1 of HBO Max's Creature Commandos, the first entry into James Gunn's new DC universe.
Creature Commandos, very enjoyable. Thoroughly enjoyed each episode as the story progressed, focused on the backstory of one of the creatures.
Yeah, each episode basically focused on the backstory.
Yeah. Loved it. Didn't... Last episode, kind of a disappointment-ish.
Why? I'm just trying to poke and prod. Poke and prod.
It just didn't... It felt off compared to the rest of them.
Now, I have to admit I made a mistake. A week that you weren't here, on one of your 14 vacation weeks that you so generously get from whoever runs Sports Frenzy. But one of the weeks you were off recently, I said that we had a death. And I was wrong. No, I was wrong because I thought a certain character had died.
Oh.
And that character did not die. Now we get a major death in the final episode. And that disappointed me. I hate to sound like an old softy, because most people who know me
this was
know
the character that should not have.
Thank you. That's how I felt, and it kind of depressed me a little bit. I know where we're going.
That's where I was starting. That's where I was going to end up.
That's why I wanted to let you finish.
Yeah, it's.
Because I know we're going for a darker tone here. I know we're going for a edgier DC universe now under James Gunn. But this didn't seem right to me.
This was the character that shouldn't have continued. This was the moral compass for the team.
Oh my God, I was just going to say the same thing. Moral compass. Look at that. Look at that. It's telepathy. I'm telling you.
This is why we're brothers.
That's why we've been friends for 30 fucking years.
We get it.
And here's the thing. I'm not usually big into the animation stuff. And yes, I got drawn into this, and probably next week when Dave is on his 572nd vacation day, I will review Secret Level, the first season of that on Amazon Prime.
I got the first one in.
You watched it?
I got the first one in.
Oh, we're going to have to revisit this in a minute. Let's finish up Creature Commandos.
So I will wait until I want to do all of them. I will play catch up.
Okay.
You do yours.
But Creature Commandos.
Creature Commandos overall, fantastic. Well, not fantastic. Very good. I enjoyed it.
I'll give it 2.5.
I'll go 3.
2.5 frenzies. Usually
Gunn held back. There's a lot more he could have done with these characters.
I agree with that when it comes to Dr. Phosphorus. He did not
Phosphorus was a letdown.
Did not even come close to using that character to his full potential. David Harbour as Frankenstein was awesome because he got most of the dialogue.
Yeah,
the twisted, bizarre dialogue that he had.
The amount of time Harbour got doing the dialogue for Frankenstein, half of that should have gone to Tudyk for Phosphorus.
Yes, because those are the two strongest characters. The Weasel is he's a sideshow. Entertaining sideshow.
And his backstory.
Here's the problem. The bride is not.
Why is the bride the focal point?
Yeah, she's front and center, and I don't understand. She's the least interesting character of all of them.
Thank you. Yes. One-sided. Phosphorus and Frankenstein are the two strongest characters.
Right. And G.I. Robot.
Come on.
But of course, you have to watch all the way through to the end to see what happens with G.I. Robot.
Now, I will say, going back, Weasel's backstory.
Well, that's sad. It's sad.
That's actually what I thought it was. Complete misunderstanding. And I was proven right.
Yep. And I think that's the thing. The best characters are
misunderstood.
Are the ones where, yes, they're either misunderstood or there's understandable tragic circumstances like Dr. Phosphorus. The bride, I just, great. Now you're an angry bitch version of the Bride of Frankenstein. But there's no depth to you beyond that. There's no depth.
There's more depth to Frankenstein.
Yes, because he talks like some kind of a bizarre
romantic
Lord Byron type of nut job. And Harbour does a great job.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
No, I was disappointed we didn't have more Alan Tudyk as Dr. Phosphorus. Tudyk's talents were vastly underused.
Yep. Now, what I will say, I will put a little rule out there for me, when it comes to TV and streaming shows. If I give a show less than 3, usually I will abandon it. The only reason I didn't abandon Creature Commandos is because it's only 25 minutes an episode.
Yeah, they're short.
So I could, same thing with Secret Level. We're talking about 10, 15-minute little vignettes.
Yeah. They're entertaining.
Yeah. And
they're not fantastic, but they're entertaining.
Well, let's move on. Since I didn't realize you'd started watching, let's discuss this real quick. Secret Level. Now, there are 15 of these little vignettes on Amazon Prime. Very hard to watch more than one or two at a time because it's such a shift in terms of the animation style, in terms of the stories.
Everything is completely different.
There's no linear narrative focus.
No, it's just going to be, all right, this is what this one is. Boom, done.
Right.
Move on. Boom,
different creative teams doing these little short animated video game based stories. So you started. I am 6 in right now. I just got through Warhammer and Pac-Man.
Okay.
And you didn't sound very enthusiastic about the beginning.
Initially,
Dungeons and Dragons, right?
It turned out better than I thought. I was kind of poo-pooing the whole thought and ideas behind it. But I get it. It's got that little hook to tie things together. So I think I will continue on with it.
Watch the second one. If you don't like the second one, you should probably just call it quits. Because I remember the second one, even though I don't know the game, struck me as the best in terms of overall story, animation style. Warhammer was very disappointing.
Oh,
very disappointing
that's
to me.
depressing.
To me. It looked like it was going to be really good, and then it kind of fell flat. Pac-Man is bizarre.
Well,
Bizarre.
Did you ever watch the cartoon?
Yeah, but of course they took this to another level completely. A secret level.
Ooh.
Nope. If you're going to stick with it, maybe we'll review this in a couple weeks.
I'm going to give a few more, see how it goes.
All right.
So, we will see how it winds up.
I did watch the second episode of Going Dutch.
I have not watched it yet.
I am probably going to ditch Dutch.
We talked about after the first episode that it was and we thought the second one was going to tell the tale.
The second one's worse.
Then I am going to not even bother because I was on the fence continuing anyway.
The second one does not even have the bleeped out
tirade.
Yeah, like you get a couple times in the first one from Dennis Leary. No. I did not like the second one at all. You've basically taken what you've done is taken.
You've neutered Dennis Leary.
You've taken one of the greatest comedic minds of the last 30 years, and as Dave said, neutered him. This show should
What was the point?
This show should never have been on regular TV. FX,
maybe.
Comedy Central, something like that.
Maybe. I wasn't even wild about the overall premise.
I don't know. Some tits and cursing could help a lot.
It could have helped. Could have helped.
His daughter's got a nice rack.
She does. But the overall premise was just not a good idea.
No. I agree. Just, it seems like bland, cliche sitcom bullshit.
And not even, I don't even, yeah, it's just not good.
No. I don't blame you if you're going to bail.
I'm
might
bailing.
watch the 3rd episode.
Why would you subject yourself?
I don't know. I just have faith. I love Dennis Leary. I think...
Yes, but at some point you have to acknowledge the fact that even he cannot save it.
I know.
Why frustrate yourself even further?
Because this is my life, Dave. Haven't you figured this out by now?
Read a book!
Self-flagellation. That's my life. Now, my review for next week, since your Uncle Dave will be on his 4,475th vacation week.
Maybe I'll get a birthday gift and allowed to come out and play.
No, I'm not trying to guilt you into doing the podcast next week. But I know you're not big on this, so I'm just letting the kids know what I will review next week. Solo. I will review Squid Game Season 2, as I'm almost done with it.
I have yet to start because I don't know if I want to.
I'll let you kids know. I'll let you guys know what to do with Squid Game 2. And I'll pass it along to Dave while he's sipping Mai Tais on the beach down in Tahiti.
If only. Tahiti, I hear it's a lovely place.
You're just such a jackass sometimes.
Don't you remember from Agents
Yes,
of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I know. That's why I said you're a jackass. You're vague and ridiculous pop culture references.
Isn't that what this show's about?
All right, now here we get
No,
to
it's not a lovely place, a magical place.
Here we get to the heavy hitter of the week as we wrap up TV and streaming. American Primeval.
Oh, baby.
Now, I got through the first 2 episodes.
Nick and I watched the first one.
Okay.
He did not want to watch the second last night. We almost did, but he's like, maybe not tonight. He had a rough day at work.
He did?
Yeah,
Or
it
you
was
did?
just, it was a long night for him.
Is he all right?
Yeah, just tired.
All right.
So, first episode, very interesting where the storyline's going. I knew there was something off with the main female character. And then you get to the end and you know why something major was off. And then you have the whole Mormon uprising. I'm
And
intrigued.
the Utes.
The Utes. The Utes with that graphic, bloody, intense scenes.
Peter Berg, I'll tell you what. Peter Berg, who appears briefly in the first episode.
Yes, as the leader of the one.
Yeah,
group.
like the bartering group
Yeah.
that takes in the Mormons, the stray Mormons.
Yeah.
He directs these episodes.
Yeah. Peter Berg is a very good director.
Some of the shots, I mean, the
battle scenes-
action scene where, like you said, the ambush happens, and the woman that you've discussed at the center of everything is hiding underneath one of the wagons, and then the oxen.
The oxen comes barreling through.
I was like,
holy
that's
shit.
like a big screen IMAX moment.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
How about the frickin' arrows flying everywhere?
I have a problem with the arrows, and I will tell you why. Now, I can't remember if this is in the first or the second episode, but it's not a spoiler. Maybe something if it's in the second episode for you to keep an eye out for. But at one point, Taylor Kitsch, who plays a guide / tracker, who's kind of maybe sort of going to guide this woman and her child to where she says she wants to go.
Even though he's got no business to take care of in that place.
Right. He gets shot in the leg by an arrow at one point.
That's got to be in the second episode.
Okay. I'm not spoiling anything beyond that. But somebody screwed up in the special effects department because he gets shot in the leg by an arrow, falls off his horse, starts running. Number one, I don't know how you can run. I don't know how you can run.
You might be hobbling.
No, he's running almost full speed with an arrow in his leg.
No.
And then he finally stops, looks down at his leg. There's no arrow there. And then he Then he looks back at the guys who are chasing him. Looks back then. Oh, and there's the arrow. Blatantly
editing,
awful,
editing.
Terrible job. Terrible job. I had to rewind it and watch it.
Did I really see that?
Yeah. Because I'm like, there's no arrow there. What the fuck happened?
Bad editing.
So, just keep an eye out for that in episode 2. Again, not a spoiler.
Just a faux pas.
Bad special effects. But yeah, I'm through 2. Loving it. Absolutely loving it.
Yeah, love the first one.
Yep. So
episode 1,
I believe
phenomenal.
it's 6 episodes total.
Yeah. We will be sticking with it. That's just intense stuff.
Yep. Always down for a really good Western.
Yep. This has got Nick thinking he's watching Black Sails right now.
Which is awesome, by
Which
the
is
way.
fantastic.
Yes.
After this, he's thinking of starting Hell on Wheels and then alternating what he watches episode by episode. That's not a bad thing because it'll keep you interested in both.
All right, so now it's time to move on to movies here.
Let's all go to the lobby.
I love those old commercials. I love the old movie theaters, the old cinema before you had to deal with
the dancing candy boxes.
Yes, before you had to deal with all the
soda.
idiots who were so inconsiderate, and now with the cell phones, and you just want to punch half the people in the theater in the face.
And paying a premium for seats. And bullshit.
That's what's great about TV and streaming, is that even though we're doing movies,
we do it at home.
Still cannot figure out why a Clint Eastwood movie basically went directly to HBO Max with a very limited 1-week theatrical release.
I don't get it. This movie deserved more than a 1-week theatrical release.
Now, did it? It
or
did.
Did it not?
It did because of the names attached. Clint Eastwood directed it. You've got J.K. Simmons, Toni Collette, Nicholas Hoult, Kiefer Sutherland in this movie.
Big cast. You would have thought it would have had a bigger run. There were parts, it felt low budget.
Yeah, it did. But I think the story lends itself to, it's more plot driven than it is about, big showy sets or special effects or something like that. Now, a side note, and I have not heard back from my daughter yet, filmed in Savannah, Georgia. And I was like, this is back in 2023 when it was filmed. I looked it up.
And she didn't say anything about it.
How the hell is she not tracking down Clint Eastwood and saying, my dad thinks you're a god. Please take a picture with me or sign a picture or something. Mr. Eastwood, please.
Come on, Cass.
See, that's the thing. My daughter's probably like, Clint Eastwood?
They filmed a movie here?
He's no Timothy Chalamet.
Thank God for that. Eastwood has balls. Eastwood is a man.
But yeah, Juror number 2 was filmed in Savannah, Georgia. Now, we're not spoiling anything for you because this happens early on. And if you've watched the trailers, you can figure it out. Nicholas Hoult plays a man who gets called for jury duty with his wife pregnant at home. And he has, let's say, a vested interest in the case he ends up being selected for jury duty for.
That would be an understatement.
So that's the movie is about the moral conundrum of if you knew something about the guilt or innocence, and I still don't think they ever fully 100%
you
said.
don't know 100% if what you think happened actually happened.
So this is the moral conundrum you are given in this movie in Juror number 2. Number one, what would you do if you were Nicholas Hoult? Number 2, what do you do if you're the district attorney? What do you do if you're the defense attorney? The question is, what should these characters be doing?
What is the appropriate course of action?
The moral compass. What is the moral compass telling you to do if you're these main characters in this movie? We never really get a resolution. I will say that.
There is no resolution. No ultimate resolution.
No. Beyond that, we're not gonna spoil any more of the plot for you of this movie. But let's just say that the movie's purpose is to make you think. It is not to give you a definitive end to the story.
And it does. You are questioning.
Again, what would
everything.
You do? What would you do? Now, on that level, it works. I think on a lot of other levels, it fails.
Yes.
Number one, I don't think Nicholas Hoult is good at all as the main character.
This is Holt's weakest performance of things I've seen.
He's like flatlining his way through this whole movie.
Yeah, he's
very
like,
wooden. Considering what he's going through internally,
you would expect more emotion out of him, and you don't get it. You got a wider range from him in Renfeld.
Yes.
You got more from him in Deadpool Wolverine. This is just a very blasé performance from him.
Yes. Yep. And a movie like this should be a showy movie. Like you said, you made a great point. This is a low-budget, plot-driven movie. This should be a very showy movie for the actors and the actresses.
But that being said, you can have a low-budget movie like this on a grander scale than what it was.
But this is the type of movie where the top-level actors and actresses that are in this should have risen to the occasion.
And they did.
I did not think Kiefer Sutherland was very good.
No,
I don't think his plot, his character was written very well.
No, it was
basically I was sitting there going, a lot of help you fucking are.
Yeah, what the hell good are you? You're supposed to be.
Yeah.
This Holt's character's
attorney. Basically, his attorney. Yeah. And his sponsor.
You're supposed to have an important role in his life, and it's just, whatever. Just kind of blow it off.
Yeah, he makes like 2 or 3 appearances and that's it.
And no advice whatsoever.
Yeah.
On how to deal with stuff.
Basically,
just,
you're screwed. You're screwed.
Don't do anything. Just
yeah.
Like, seriously, come on.
Probably Toni Collette was the best in terms of performances as the DA. You could see her waffling back and forth between winning her election versus doing the right thing.
See, now the defense attorney with his conviction,
Chris Messina was very good.
Was fantastic as the defense
attorney. I liked
attorney.
him too. I did.
He was very good.
And we didn't get enough of J.K. Simmons.
No, that was just
who kind of fucks the whole thing up.
Yeah.
You know, kind of turns the whole case on its ear. I have to admit, I was disappointed with this movie. In the end, I was disappointed with the ambiguity of, I felt like I was in a philosophy class.
You hit the intro of the case where you find out what it is, and you have Holt's flashbacks and the start of the moral conundrum, and you think, holy shit, this is going to be fantastic. And it
kind of just never goes further than that.
No, it just kind of,
It felt to me like I was in philosophy class all over again. It felt like I was given a moral dilemma, and I had to explain to the professor the pros and the cons, but I never got an answer. I never got a definitive answer or grade on what was right, what was wrong with my arguments, one way or the other. You're left with basically, again, what would you have done? And then it's all on you. It's all on you. Yeah.
You
live with your answer.
You interpret it.
Yeah.
And deal with it as.
Yeah. So I think it was a disappointing effort. Not terrible. Not terrible at all.
It's
just disappointing.
Great moral discussion for yourself.
But I don't know if it's a great movie.
It's not a great movie. I liked the premise behind it.
I did
execution.
Too. I did too. Yep.
It lacked in execution and acting.
Yeah. I will give it 2 frenzies.
2.5.
I can see that. I mean, I'm being a little harsh on it. I really am. Especially considering this is Clint Eastwood. One of my all-time icons.
But it just fell flat.
And it really, I look again back at Nicholas Hoult.
And he's just...
This should have been a showpiece performance.
The emotional gamut he should have been running. And he was just a one-emotion character.
Yes, he was flat as a board. And the other thing that bothered me about this movie, by the way, and then we'll move on. Did you notice? Now we've all seen these courtroom dramas, these 12 Angry Men with the juries and this type of stuff. I thought it was very lazy and offensive. Okay? I'm usually the guy who goes down the other road. But I will tell you right now, I thought it was offensive that they made the 2 black jurors the angry, petulant, nasty jurors. They were the first ones to say, let's get this over with, let's get this done with, he's guilty, he's guilty, he's guilty. A little bit of stereotyping there. I didn't like it. I was uncomfortable with that. You couldn't have made a white person be a little bit nasty and ornery. We had to make the 2 African-American characters like that.
Yeah. See, now I thought they were kind of starting to do... They tried to do that with the blonde who took the 4-woman spot. She just wanted to be done.
I never got that out of her.
Oh, she wanted to just be done with it and get back to her family.
Yeah, but I think the other 2 were much more vocal about it.
They were angry.
Now the male one,
the male had issues.
They explain why with him.
And it's like, sorry, that argument doesn't hold water. You're being the stereotypical racist.
No, I don't think he was being a racist, but I know where you're going. He's looking at the guy's tattoo,
No, he can't change. He's scum. He's
Yeah.
evil because he was associated with this gang. So anybody associated with that, they're never going to amount to anything.
Right, right. But just, I'm nitpicking again, but it's part of reviewing a movie. And there are certain trigger points. Yeah, God help me if I ever use that.
Oh, and then the 13th Juror. Miss Podcast. True crime podcast. Oh, my God.
Could have been better. This movie could have been better. I was disappointed.
Yeah.
I was.
There was some lazy writing in there. And some not so good acting.
All right, so now we move on to Moments of Silence. We'll start off with somebody who I grew up. When I was growing up, I saw her on commercials, and she was kind of like this all-American sunshine icon. And then we found out...
Sunshine, Florida orange juice.
Then we found out that she had a little bit of a nasty prejudice streak in her.
Yes.
And that would be Anita Bryant. Yes. And Anita Bryant leaves behind a very difficult legacy.
Yes. Very talented, but
yeah.
Back in the day.
We rip on the Alphabet Mafia all the time. But she took it to another level. She took it to
a whole different level.
Yep.
Where she did not want them acknowledged in any way, shape, or form.
So, we will send out our thoughts and prayers to Anita Bryant with a caveat.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
Big on the R&B music scene from the 60s. Sam Moore from the duo of Sam and Dave has passed
Soul
away.
Man?
Yep.
Isn't that Soul Man? Yep. Of course, made popular in our era by the Blues Brothers.
Yep. And then a very bad movie with C. Thomas Howell.
Yes. Oh, God, yes. Yes. And, of course, I got to slip in my wrestling reference for the week. Former NWA superstar had a brief little dalliance in the WWE. Back then, the WWF. Black Bart passed away.
Yep. And then 40 years on General Hospital as Dr. Monica Quartermain. Leslie Charleston's passed away.
Yeah,
I used to watch General Hospital for a couple of years in the 80s during its big point. Just after the Luke and Laura wedding and...
Yeah, and you know I'm a sucker for soap operas too. And it's just lately so many of these people who are in these soap operas...
Forever and ever.
...are passing away. So I apologize we're not getting to all of them. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, that one just hit because she was a huge part in the storylines when I was watching. And she probably remained through, but you focus in when you're watching it.
Yep. All right, Dave, what time is it?
It's time to pivot.
As we wrap up the weekend edition with, I will say, arguably 6 of the biggest dumbasses we've ever had in 1 week.
Ooh.
All competing for the coveted prize of having a foot shoved up their ass by the great Red Foreman, as they want to be the Red Foreman dumbass of the week.
Or don't they?
I don't know. Maybe they like it.
Some people pay extra for that.
Foot beads? I don't know.
Other nefarious objects?
Yeah. I never want to talk to anybody who has worked in an emergency room at a hospital. So, what have you seen people shove up their ass?
You don't want to know.
Yeah, once they say gerbil, I'm out! I'm out! All right, we'll start off with this. Because I'm tired. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being told this is going to kill you, and then a year later, no, it's good for you, and then a year later, no, it's going to kill you again. So,
Are we talking about eggs?
no, we're talking about something that we truly love. Two things that we truly love: alcohol and coffee.
Oh, come on!
The Surgeon General. This is a two-part, dumbass.
The Surgeon General's a wuss bag.
The Surgeon General has come out and said that any consumption of alcohol increases your cancer risk. That's the latest. Now they're trying to tell you, do not drink alcohol at all, otherwise you will get cancer and die. And I drink from my beer to tell you, fuck off.
I drink because I can.
Yes, isn't that the greatest tenet of philosophy ever? I drink, therefore I am. But then Tulane University's got to jump in and basically say, if you drink coffee anytime in the afternoon or evening, you're going to die.
What the So is the American Breakfast Society responsible for this study? That you can only have coffee in the morning?
Tired of it.
What the hell? What?
Yeah, they say if you drink coffee anytime from like noon on, you are vastly increasing your chances of death.
Why?
Because it throws your system off, you're pumping caffeine in too late
Then
in the day.
why are you drinking soda all damn day long? What's the fucking difference?
So, the Surgeon General and Tulane University.
You have your coffee and then you have a beer to cancel it out. There you go.
I gotta tell you a story. I knew a guy, district manager, when I worked at Walden Books. Yes, kids, I did work at a bookstore. He would literally shift from coffee to beer within half an hour. You want to talk about somebody who took the philosophy of it's noon? He would drink coffee right up until noon, and then he'd go out to lunch and start drinking beer. He would ride that roller coaster of caffeine and alcohol. And I was like, how do you do that?
No. Moderation. That's the key, kids.
I'll bet you he's dead.
How long ago was this? And how old was he at the time?
Okay. Yeah, well, that might have something to do with it. Yeah, this was back in the mid to late 90s.
And how old was he then?
He was probably about 10 years older than me. I'm 60, so yeah, he might be 70. Or he would have been. If the alcohol and the coffee didn't kill him.
That's probably what's keeping him going.
I'm telling you, I'm beginning to think I'm going to live to 100. Because I don't deserve it. I'm going to take another sip of my cheap beer. Oh, I can feel that cancer growing in my veins right now. I'm not trying to make fun of cancer people. Sorry.
No, we're making fun of all the damn studies that keep counteracting themselves. It's
just live your life. Just do it.
Moderation is the key. Of course, when you shove 2 gallons of alcohol into a small little rat, what do you think's gonna happen?
There you go. Have a couple cookies every night. Just don't eat a whole goddamn package of Chips Ahoy. ABC anchor David Muir, who I've always thought is a creepy. He's a creepy dude.
He's not. Yeah, creepy is a very good word.
Of course, he had to jump out there on the West Coast when the fires were raging.
You're so vague.
The only problem
you
is...
probably think this
fire is about you. While he was doing one of his shots, one of his remotes, he turned away from the camera and let everybody see that they were using clothespins to tighten his jacket, his fire retardant, cool-ass jacket. So he looked trim and svelte and awesome.
You're so vain.
While people are losing their houses...
He's being an asshat.
Yes. Yes. The pictures are awesome, by the way. Just, it's like, oh my God. I'm so glad that they caught him doing this. And then, of course, the next time he had the unbuttoned jacket flowing around him so he didn't look,
It's a shame the clothespins didn't spark up.
Now, I will be more than happy to, and this is going to be a point of emphasis here. We don't just rip on the people that we hate and the people that are going to be on the plane of doom. We will also rip on people we actually like.
And we do.
And here's a point in case. Tommy Lee. Our man Tommy Lee, drummer for Motley Crue. Another reason why, stay off social media. Just stay off social media.
The downfall of everything.
Tommy Lee gets onto social media and rips into, quote, the self-promotion of bands and performers trying to tell people about concerts they're having or the release date of new music.
Hello, isn't that how you got your start?
But here's the thing. He's basically saying don't do it during this point in time. He's saying don't do it during the wildfires. We've got bigger and more important things to worry about. Okay? So that's what he's saying. A fairly noble sentiment.
Except
that a day before he posted this, Motley Crue had posted on social media a video of him doing a drum solo promoting their Las Vegas residency.
Boom! There you go. Idiot.
Better make sure, Tommy, what's going on with your band before you open your yap on social media. Oh, here we go, Dave. Here we go. Your favorite and mine. Joy Behar.
I've changed my mind. She does not have a seat on the plane of doom.
Oh boy, you better have something better for me.
She's strapped to the friggin' nose cone on the outside.
She is evil. I won't say that very often. She is evil.
An evil, vindictive bitch.
Joy Behar questions Carrie Underwood and her love of America because she's daring to sing at Donald Trump's inauguration.
Shut up, you stupid cow.
Now, I'm following through on what I promised. I looked up Joy Behar's educational background, and believe it or not, she might be one of the few that can actually speak on matters like this. She has a bachelor's degree in sociology and a master's in English education. So unlike most of the idiots that we talk about here at the end of the episode every week,
she's actually has gone through the educational process.
We can't throw her lack of education in her face, just everything else. But
she has no right to tell somebody what they can or cannot do, when or where they can or cannot perform.
I was actually going to make Carrie Underwood my badass of the week for having the guts to do this, considering you got people like Joy Behar out there saying, you can't do this because it's Donald Trump.
So fucking what? She wants to perform.
I think he's going to have he's going to have Carrie Underwood and the Village People. Come on, man. Come on.
And Kid Rock.
Is he going to perform?
Oh, yeah.
I did not hear definitively the Kid Rock. You figure he would be.
Yeah.
Now, where's Ted Nugent? Where's the Nuge? Get the damn Yankees back together. All right.
It's a musical performance. Politics has nothing to fucking do with it.
No. But how, remember the Clintons? Remember how often we had to fucking hear Fleetwood Mac?
Oh,
Don't
God.
stop thinking about tomorrow. All right. I have not discussed this here over the last couple weeks on the weekend edition because it's just silly, tawdry stuff. But now I have to. Because now they're bringing in my man Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, this
Justin Baldoni. This guy that Blake Lively did this movie with. Big hit movie, right?
Yeah.
It Ends With Us. And then now she's suing him, and he says he's going to countersue for sexual harassment. And now Justin Baldoni has officially, quote-unquote, warned Disney to keep all evidence intact. Do not delete emails or text messages because he is preparing to sue Ryan Reynolds for, wait for it, the fact that Baldoni thinks Nicepool in Deadpool and Wolverine is mocking him.
Gee, the last I thought, you could make a mockery of people.
It's called parody.
Yes. Saturday Night Live does it all the damn time.
Yeah, Donald Trump should be able to sue NBC into the ground. If it, like you said though, it's allowed.
Parody. Suck it up, you little bitch.
I think this guy's got to be the biggest snowflake in the world.
He's a fucktard. Sorry.
And then finally, maybe this one's an overreaction on my part, but I don't think so. Because we're going to go back to LA, go back to the fires. There are a lot of very generous companies, very generous networks, very generous celebrities donating money to help the people of Los Angeles and the surrounding areas who have been devastated by the fires, right?
Yep.
You see YouTube, Google, I mean, everybody. Individual people all the way up the ladder to big-time corporations. And what are they doing? They're simply saying, we're donating this amount of money. We're donating this amount of money. But there's one example of a dumbass celebrity who had to screw things up.
There always is.
And that would be one Mandy Moore. Mandy Moore decided, and tell me, Dave, if you haven't heard this before, maybe sounds similar to somebody named Alyssa Milano. Instead of Mandy Moore saying, hey, I'm going to donate $500,000, or I'm going to donate $1 million to fire relief, she decided to post a GoFundMe page for her in-laws, saying they really got hurt very badly by these fires, so could you please donate money to help them out?
Gee, you're the big celebrity. Why don't you donate to help them out? I know you lost all your stuff, but come on, seriously.
And of course, that's what everybody said. Everybody said, hey, Mandy, we're thinking you're doing okay. Why don't you help your in-laws out? And she comes back with, of course I'm helping my in-laws out. You're not helping the situation, so go fuck off. I'm paraphrasing, but I'm pretty damn close. And she did say, yes, go fuck off.
Then you don't do a GoFundMe if you're a fucking celebrity.
Yeah.
You lose the right.
I don't understand
I
how
hate this whole GoFundMe stuff to begin with.
Begging for money. Yeah. We've lost all of our dignity. We're begging now for money. We're begging for money for... And I understand it. Some people, medical bills, I get it. But we're basically now, we've made it commonplace to beg for money. This is one step above sitting on a street corner with a cardboard sign.
Yeah.
You're basically doing that except you're on the internet.
Yep. Pretty much.
All right, so Dave, we have to choose from the Surgeon General and Tulane University telling us that booze and coffee are going to kill us.
Everything's going to kill you, so what does it matter?
Mandy Moore and her GoFundMe page for her in-laws. ABC anchor David Muir for his tight fire jacket thanks to clothespins. Tommy Lee for ripping into self-promotion a day after the crew promoted him and their residency in Vegas. Joy Behar saying Carrie Underwood doesn't love the country for doing the inauguration. And Justin Baldoni basically preparing to sue Ryan Reynolds over Nicepool.
So many difficult decisions here.
And of course, all of you out there, feel free to chime in on the Spotify page and of course on the Facebook page. Let us know who you think is the dumbass of the week. I'm biased here. I'm biased. I cannot get over my prejudice.
Over
I cannot.
Behar.
I want Joey Behar to be the dumbass of the week, the dumbass of the year, the dumbass of the century, and I love your idea of strapping her to the fucking nose cone on the plane of doom. She's evil! She's fucking evil, people!
She's always going to be evil.
I was telling Dave a story earlier
but
today.
For the pure... We know what she is.
I know. Yeah, it's... Yeah.
So that's a given with her. Muir.
The vanity.
The vanity in the midst of the tragedy.
I like it. I like it.
Gotta go there.
Yeah, we were talking off mic about somebody that I know who kept saying on social media how wonderful a man Joe Biden is. Joe Biden he's like Joy Behar to me. He's evil. His son is evil. I don't care if he's the president, he's evil. And I can't wait for him to get the fuck out of the office and stop screwing over the people of America.
Which he's done from day one.
He's a liar.
Politics.
He's a scumbag. Sorry. The evidence is there. The evidence is there. Yes. And it will not be like a transition from Jimmy Carter to Ronald Reagan. It will be... Jimmy Carter ended up being a great president after the fact. He was a great man after he left office. With Habitat for Humanity. That's not going to happen with Joe Biden. It's not.
Joe's got nothing.
He's going to crawl back into his little hole and nestle in as close as he can to the pits of hell where he belongs. And he can take Kamala with him. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say that out loud?
Yeah, but that's all right. Because we're allowed.
That's why we're your favorite politically incorrect pop culture commentary show. And yes, next week you're going to have to deal with me and me alone. What are we going to talk about, kids? Well, I think I'll give you, of course, my review of Squid Game Season 2. And I'm going to, not a story time, even though it's an older movie, but the number one movie in America this past week was Den of Thieves 2, Pantera. I think I'm going to finally go back and watch the first Den of Thieves. Give you a review of that. So, just little heads up for what we're looking at for next week. Yes, you have to deal with me and me alone, but my voice is back.
You should all be thrilled.
I know.
The dulcet tones of the maestro.
And by the way, next week, why we're not going to have the Conquistador with us, it's his birthday! Happy birthday to Dave.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I expect all of you out there who listen to this show to buy him a very expensive present.
He's setting up a GoFundMe page.
Yeah, Mandy Moore and I are getting together. On that note,
say goodnight to the kids, Kev.
Good night to the kids, Kev.